Hi Wildings, welcome back to the Wilding Tarot YouTube channel, where we do intuitive tarot card readings on love and relationships and spiritual development, especially how our relationships can be a really beautiful container for our own spiritual development as an individual, which is basically heavy lovers card energy from the tarot. That card is all about using relationships to reflect our deepest wounds and align us with unconditional love and basically evolve into our best self, using kind of the feedback of a person right in front of you in sometimes triggering and sometimes really ecstatic situations. But my name is Jade Rewilding and I will be reading for you today if we haven't met. I do have an about me in my description box if you want to know a little bit more. But let's get ready for today's reading. I'm just doing a opening ritual for you on the screen in a time lapse, because obviously it does take me a lot longer to do than this. I wish I was this fast, but I will be explaining our video in a few moments, which I am really excited for. But let's just enjoy the vibes together of me setting up the space for this general energy tarot reading. Let's get into your video, guys. Hi Aries, Leo and Sag placements. Welcome to your fire sign general energy reading for today. So if you have any of these placements in your chart, especially in your big three or big five, so your sun, moon, rising, and your Mars and Venus placements, then this reading is probably for you. However, it will be important for you to take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and keep in mind that depending where your particular placement shows up, you may need to interpret the cards a little bit differently. But yeah, you guys are all powerful, intuitive people, so I'm sure you'll be able to apply these general messages to whatever area of the chart that this sign is ruling for you, especially if you have a particular placement there that kind of changes the energy slightly. If you're not sure, I think I will leave a bit of a description in the description box for you, just so you can have a little bit of a guide of how to apply these messages depending on where these signs show up in your chart. But whenever you're ready, just go ahead and head to whichever sign you'd like to get a reading for first, keeping in mind that your sign might have like multiple placements, so there might be multiple meanings, and you may have many of these placements in your chart. Like you might have all of these placements, like I only have Sag, but yeah, like you might have all three, you might have two, so just grabbing a reading for whichever signs you have placements for. And wherever you head to, either Aries, Leo, or Sag, I will see you there in a moment. Hi Aries placements, welcome to your general energy reading for today. So if you have Aries placements in your chart, this reading is probably for you. But yeah, taking what resonates, leaving what doesn't, and remembering that, yeah, to apply the house rulership and planetary rulership to your reading. We're just going to get a couple more energies for your reading, Aries, just so that we know kind of what else might be going on. So we also have the 9th house of faith, spirituality, travel, personal development, and like higher education. It's ruled by Sagittarius and Jupiter. So Sagittarius is kind of that curious seeker, philosopher kind of energy, and then Jupiter is a very abundant, like kind of brings good fortune kind of energy. We also have Taurus, which rules the 2nd house of possessions and owning. The 2nd house is also ruled by Venus, and Taurus is ruled by Venus. So we've got some earth energy, some fire energy, and then we have more earth energy with the Saturn return. So Saturn rules the 10th house, and so does Capricorn, which is a cardinal earth sign. And the 10th house has a lot to do with our life purpose and like what it is we kind of incarnated to do, kind of in a practical sense in life in this lifetime. Our Saturn return happens about at the age of 27, 28, and it involves like kind of coming into your truth and your responsibility when it comes to the things that you've committed to doing here on earth in this incarnation. So yeah, some very interesting energies, but let's get a little bit more specific using this traditional tarot. We clarified, thank you. Also clarified this Ace of Wands energy and the Three of Cups energy. And the Nine of Pentacles energy, please. Aries placements, I can see that at the moment you're really focusing on yourself. All of your energy is basically turned inward towards figuring stuff out for yourself and planning and kind of getting your life together in a very practical sense. There seems like there's a few things that are had to be kind of paused for you at the moment, so that you could really knuckle down and like just worry about yourself for a bit. But Spirit's definitely trying to ready you to kind of change your focus more externally in the very near future, because it seems like you've been kind of like exploring yourself and figuring out how to be potentially happier, more financially stable, more like happy with your like life in general. This Nine of Pentacles energy is like Venus in Virgo energy, so it's like kind of enjoying all the like wonderful things that life has to offer. Nines in Kabbalah tarot represent kind of like the foundation for you to experience like really tangible manifests of kind of kingdom energy. It's kind of like that last stage before you really experience your blessings. And so it seems like you've definitely been focusing on a lot of that energy recently, and Spirit's wanting you to start to take some of that energy externally now, so that those blessings can start coming in, because sometimes our blessings, well, often our blessings like kind of come through each other, like they like we're so connected, and like our blessings kind of work in a very connected way. Like they don't come to us kind of as a solo entity, they come to us as like kind of communal energies, and that's what Spirit's trying to redirect you towards now. So you probably haven't felt super inspired when it comes to kind of like going out in the world and like sharing your gifts and like collaborating with others. I can see that you've been very kind of like on your own, and kind of like looking at the storm within of like all the stuff from your past, and like really challenging kind of like old patterns so that you can develop much better patterns. But yeah, it's definitely time for you to become a little bit more emotionally available, a little bit more out there in the world, a little bit. So this Chariot coming out in reverse tells me that there's been a bit of a separation from you in the world, but yeah, Spirit's asking you to like change that energy, and along with that change of energy, like you'll be way more inspired to take inspired action that will create channels for the universe to send you all the blessings that you've been manifesting based on you working on your own energy, until you kind of create some of that inspired action and start collaborating with other people. Spirit doesn't have a channel to send you your blessings, essentially. And so that's what Spirit's trying to get you to do. So yeah, these two cards coming out in reverse, this Queen of Cups and Chariot, tells me that you're a bit like separated at the moment. And yeah, Spirit wants you to reverse that. Spirit wants you to, like, Three of Wands is like heavy teamwork energy. This is inspiration energy. And the Three of Cups is like kind of emotional support energy. So Spirit really wants you to like feel inspired, take inspired action, collaborate with other people on your inspired action, and find people that really support you, and that make you feel like really cup full. So that, yeah, you can create a channel for Spirit to bring you the blessings that you've been manifesting while you've been working on your own energy. So I can see that you've like evolved spiritually a lot. You're like standing in your truth and standing in your power a lot more, taking much more responsibility for like kind of what it is that you're here to do on earth. But yeah, kind of the last thing in terms of like manifesting all of your blessings that will probably be like heavy financial blessings, but like it'll just be like good quality of life and stuff too, like all of that beautiful Taurus energy. Like, yeah, you becoming a little bit more externally focused right now will help with all that, which I think like for a lot of Aries placements is relatively easy, like depending on where your placement is. Like Aries, I feel like is a generally fairly extroverted energy, so like that part shouldn't be too hard for you. Like probably the hardest part was like introspecting and like really just worrying about yourself for a bit. So like I'm sure that like everything will kind of gain momentum fairly quickly, because you'll be able to like take that energy out fairly easily. So Spirit's reminding you to have boundaries during this time. Probably some of the because Aries does tend to be a little bit extroverted, like probably some of the ways that some of the reasons why you definitely needed this introspective time is because like you tend to be very externally focused and like giving to other people and just like worrying about other people all the time. So it's important that when you do kind of re-enter kind of external energies, that you're creating boundaries and knowing how to honor this beautiful space, like sanctuary that you've created for yourself, so that you can keep on your path. Like Spirit doesn't want this kind of external switch to take you off your path, because you're definitely like you're on the trajectory that Spirit wants for you. So making sure that you're utilizing boundaries to kind of stay on that trajectory. You could identify with this masculine archetype, or this masculine archetype can indicate the masculine within becoming like more well-rounded, based on like all this introspection and all this like spiritual development that you've been doing, and like improving your quality of life. So regardless of which archetype you fit into most of the time, Spirit wants you to know that you're kind of inner masculine is like basically like thriving right now. So you can really rely on it, probably in a way that you've never been able to rely on it before. The inner masculine is really important for boundary setting too. So yeah, Spirit definitely wants you to keep that kind of protective energy around for yourself, and making sure that you feel nourished within before you go without. When we go into the external and we're not feeling super nourished within, we can end up like trying to seek nourishment without, and yeah, it can end up being a bit of a mess. So you've also got the communication is key part. So this is definitely talking about like this collaboration that Spirit wants you to do. Like Spirit definitely wants you to like connect with others, and this communication might be like finding your team, finding people that are going to like help you keep this energy going and like even pick up momentum. and connecting with them. I think the communication is important in terms of like communicating like all that you've learned in this time as well, and sharing that with people. Like there's probably really beautiful lessons for you to share with others based on all the development that you've been doing as an individual. But let's see if we have any more oracles for you. So we have wisdom, music, wait for winter. So the wisdom card text says, have you ever been told that you're wise beyond your years? Now is the time to call upon your inner fairy of wisdom to help you with the challenge. So yeah, there's probably going to be some challenges in terms of like getting this kind of inspiration and like teamwork off the ground. But Spirit wants you to know that all of the answers you have are within, and all of this like introspection that you've been doing has been creating this wisdom that you'll be able to rely on as you go out and kind of translate it into the world. Spirit also wants you to stay connected to music. There may be messages and inspiration in music for you as you kind of make this transition, and also it can help ground you as you start to move into the world a bit more externally focused in the near future. You also have the wait for winter card. So as we were talking about before with your manifestations, like they're kind of almost at that peak energy before you see things tangibly manifest. And like, it's kind of that saying, like, it's always darkest before the dawn. Like sometimes you can feel kind of like that things are like a little bit empty and like kind of not coming into fruition. But that's usually right before things start to manifest. So just know, like, let there be that little like kind of catching up time, and just keep like focused, keep determined, like let it be there and like not derail you. Because yeah, you've got to be confident that your blessings are coming. Okay, so the affirmation we have is, I cleanse my entire being, I am free from negative energy. So I think it will be important when you move out into the world using these boundaries and communication to know like who does not pass the vibe check and who you do not want to connect with in the future. And just like cleansing that negative energy from your life, and also any like of your own energy, like negative energy that's like building up in this time where things are kind of shifting and like things might be a little bit frustrating or like taking a little while to kind of come into fruition, and just like letting it play out the way it needs to play out, and just like having as much faith and trust as possible. But I think I'm going to leave that there. Aries energies, I hope you got everything out of this reading that you really wanted and needed. It's been a pleasure reading for you. My name's Jade Rewilding, and I'll be on this page doing intuitive tarot card readings for whenever you need it. So if you can like, comment, and subscribe, I would really appreciate it, because it will help me stay on your feed for more intuitive tarot card readings like this more often. But until then, ciao. Hi Leo placements, welcome to your general energy reading. So if you have Leo placements, then this reading is probably for you. But as always, taking what resonates, leaving what doesn't, and keeping in mind where your placements are, and knowing how that will impact the reading and like the area that it might be showing up in the most. We're getting a few more energies for you, just to see what else is potentially going to come out of this reading. So we have Earth element, 7th house and 2nd house that seem to be pretty dominant in this reading. So the Earth element obviously is a very like stable, like kind of manifest energy. It corresponds with the Pentacle suit, which is like kind of the last stage of manifestation when things are really coming into fruition. The Earth element corresponds with Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo energies. So you may have a lot of those placements in your chart, or maybe there's something going on astrologically that's kind of drawing those out of your natal charts, like drawing those energies out of your natal chart at the moment, or something like that. Then we also have the 7th house, which is ruled by Libra and Venus. Venus also rules the 2nd house of owning. So there may be some stuff going on for you in terms of relationships and assets, especially joint assets at the moment. But let's find out more using this traditional tarot. So we have the Chariot. Can we get more energies, please? We get more energies for Leo placements, please. Can we clarify this Chariot energy, please? And the 4 of Pentacles energy. And the Ace of Wands. Leo energies, I can see that you're evolving a lot when it comes to partnerships and being able to be in partnerships in a more kind of like mutually beneficial way, where there's a bit more trust and a bit more generosity and all that sort of stuff. I would say that in the past that maybe you had a tendency to like try and control situations, probably not intentionally, but at least you know, like as subconsciously. And this really affected your ability to work in a team with people, because the outcome was often so important to you that you would kind of take measures to ensure that the outcome you wanted would come into fruition. And this was definitely coming from a place of like insecurity, like it wasn't coming from a place of malice or anything like that. But I can see that you've definitely been growing, and you've been becoming more secure in yourself, and also like understanding yourself a lot better. And understanding like some of your patterns, and so they're no longer like kind of ruling you as much as they used to. Like you're more in control of them, and because you're feeling more stable in yourself and more in control of your old patterns, like you're really starting to let go of this need to control situations now, which will definitely start to improve your connections in the future. And make them much more like mutual, make the power a lot more even, and will allow for a more balanced like generosity between you and whoever you're either in a connection with now or will be in a connection with in the future. Because it seems like this old pattern led you to kind of losing a lot of relationships, either by you pushing them away or them pushing you away, just because of this kind of power dynamic that was playing out. It seems like you really needed to work on a few things within yourself and become balanced in a few things, and definitely there's still some work left to do, especially around kind of reining in that fiery nature that you have. So I can see that you're a very passionate, creative, kind of leadership kind of energy. But I think like in these two energies, sometimes you can be a bit of a steamroller, which maybe was like part of this like control situation, where you'd kind of like come in really hot and kind of not necessarily be open to other people's ideas because of that kind of need to have a certain outcome. And this is still shifting for you, and this will definitely shift with more practice, like being in connections and being able to create lots of space for other people, and like letting go of this kind of controlling the outcome more and more and more the more that you practice it. But you're on a much better footing ground to actually start practicing this now, to start to change kind of how kind of all relationships, not just romantic relationships, were playing out for you in the past. And you'll find that you'll be able to create better things. Like in the past, when you were like really in control of the creative process with relationships, like the thing is like two heads are better than one. And when you can create space for other people have their say, like you actually end up being able to create something way, way, way better. So yeah, definitely look forward to your creative energy becoming more powerful as you start to be able to collaborate with other people a lot better. And I think this like shift is definitely going to challenge you. You're going to need to draw on your own like inner stores of resilience to kind of shift an old pattern and start practicing a new one. Like there will be times where it will feel like it's just easier to keep doing the same thing, because the new is really unfamiliar and unknown. But if you want a different outcome, you're gonna have to like show up differently. Hopefully I can relight this. Yeah, I think in the past your connections felt a lot less vital than what they could have been, and maybe when things went south in the past, maybe they felt more painful because of like all this old conditioning. But it's always darkest before the dawn. So if like during this time you find that kind of old pain like resurfacing, like that's part of the process. It's kind of coming up to be purged so that you can like start a new cycle, and just like trust the process. The end of a tough cycle approaches. Yeah, so what I was just saying, like sometimes it's dark before the dawn, but know that this is indicating the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new one. And yeah, just really trust the process. So we have come together. I think this energy is referring to the way that you're coming together in connection differently now. So the text says fairies like to be busy, and a group of them is showing you how many hands make light work. Working as a team helps to get the job done. So yeah, like I was saying before, like with this creation energy, like it's going to be way more powerful creating with more like energies. You're going to be able to create much better things by working together as a team, that you seem like in a much better position to do now than what you were in the past. But let's see if we can get an affirmation for you, Leo energies. Can we get an affirmation for Leo energies, please? Can we get an affirmation for Leo energies, please? We have, I trust the divine timing of the universe. So yeah, as I was saying before, just like really trusting the process and trust that everything's happening as it's supposed to be, and everything is happening in divine timing. But I think that pretty much speaks for itself. So I'm going to leave that there, Leo energies. I hope you got everything out of this reading that you really wanted and needed. It was a pleasure reading for you. My name is Jade Rewilding, and I'll be back on this channel doing intuitive tarot card readings for whenever you need it. So make sure you're liking, commenting, and subscribing to stick around for more readings like this. Until next time, ciao. Hey Sag placements, welcome to your general energy reading for today. So if you have Sag placements, then this reading is probably for you. But as always, taking what resonates, leave what doesn't. We're just going to get a few more energies for our reading. What other energies are relevant to this Sag general reading, please? Do we have any other? Thank you. Okay, so we have the 7th house of partnerships, 3rd house of communication, and moon placement. So you might be a Sag moon, or maybe your kind of like moon energies are really dominant right now. So the moon rules the 4th house and Cancer, which are both like very like feel kind of energies, especially to do with like kind of what makes us feel safe, home, like all that sort of stuff. Can also have like kind of our unconscious patterns and like family traumas like stored in there as well. So we also have the 7th house of partnerships, which is ruled by Libra and Venus, and often has to do with usually romantic partners, but sometimes it can talk about like partnerships with people in general. And then we have the 3rd house of communication, ruled by Gemini and Mercury. So often with this house, it has to do with like kind of like basic schooling, but also kind of interacting with people on the most like kind of basic communicative level. Corresponds with like Gemini energy. Gemini energy also corresponds with the Lovers card. So I wouldn't be surprised if the reading spat out a bunch of like romance stuff, but let's see what comes out. We have a general energy reading for the Sagittarius, please. Interesting. Could we clarify this 10 of Pentacles energy? And Queen of Cups. And Page of Cups, please. Sag energies, you're probably either preparing for an entirely new romantic connection or a new phase of your current romantic connection, especially if you're a Sag Sun, Moon, or Venus placement, like any placement, but especially those three. It seems like you've been through a big transition personally, especially to do with like letting go of some old patterns and like beginning new ones. The new that I can see that you're embracing is approaching connections with much more intuition, emotional availability, and kind of like calmness and knowing your worth, rather than struggling and striving to be like approved of and to like perform for other people. This Four of Swords is traditionally like kind of a rest energy. It's a Jupiter in Libra energy. So it's all about kind of like embracing like rest and equality. Like Libra represents kind of the scales and equality. So you're definitely knowing when to not overexert yourself and not overextend yourself and not over please and perform to meet someone else's expectations, especially when it means compromising your own needs. So there's definitely been a lot of personal growth in that regard. I can see in the past that maybe you had a bit of this Queen of Pentacles shadow energy. So the Queen of Pentacles is like a kind of mothering, nurturing kind of energy, but her shadow can be like enabling and like overgiving to the point of like exhaustion. And I can see that you're really like reining that tendency in. The Hierophant is essentially connecting the divine and the physical. A lot of that has to do with ritual. And like personally, I associate this card, especially clarified with Queen of Pentacles, with self-care. Like I can see that you weren't prioritizing self-care in the past, but now you definitely seem to be, and you've like really shifted into this kind of powerful Queen of Cups energy. And this is all like making you a much better partner for someone because they can trust you not to like abandon yourself for the connection or them or whatever, which means that you guys can like be like equal teammates and just collaborate a lot better. Like I think when you're constantly abandoning yourself, like your partner really can't trust you to be your teammate, be their teammate. But yeah, based on all these shifts, it seems like you're very much preparing for a much more equal connection. This Ten of Pentacles, tens in Kabbalah Tarot represent like kingdom energy, when energies manifest in a tangible form, and when energies kind of reach their peak. The Pentacle suit is all to do with like manifesting physical things, like often like abundance, wealth, like good quality of life, and kind of any of the earthly kind of pleasures that you can imagine. So it seems like you've definitely been manifesting like lots of really positive things for you, like for yourself. And potentially like something that you're either trying to manifest or will naturally manifest now, like based on this work you're doing, is potentially some communication from either like someone who hurt you, a past lover or something like that. And this communication will either give you this like new love, new start that you've been wanting, or it will close that book so that you're open to a new connection that's better for you. Just kind of take whichever of those examples is like most relevant to you. So the Six of Swords is a Mercury and Aquarius energy. So Mercury is like heavy on the communication, and then Aquarius energy rules the 11th house of like soul contracts, like all the contracts that we make with different people in our lives, for the kinds of like kind of personal experiences that we have here on Earth. So it seems like there's going to be some sort of manifestation of communication, probably with an X, just based on this coming out in reverse. That's, yeah, something that needs to be cleared, either so that you can have a new cycle with the same person or a new cycle with someone else. But yeah, it's kind of like all this third house communication, seventh house partnerships energy, as well as this like moon unconscious energy all coming out. But let's see if we can get any oracles for you, Sagittarius. So probably you're manifesting a connection with a divine masculine, just based on all this like queen energy coming out. Like, yeah, this is kind of like what's manifesting based on all the work that you've been doing. Because yeah, you really like embraced boundaries. You're no longer giving to the point of like exhaustion. You're like really honoring yourself, and you found a lot more inner peace and calm and like intuitive abilities in this time. And so this is all contributing to kind of speeding up manifesting a better lover for you. Do we have anything else? Communication is key. Yeah, there's definitely going to be some sort of communication. Like this is like heavy Gemini energy, especially with this third house. So yeah, if you are waiting for communication from a ex, like expect that. Sometimes like the communication can be like you communicating like through journaling or writing to them to like kind of release them, especially if you're like trying to manifest a new individual in your life. So if you're not manifesting a communication from your ex, definitely figuring out a way to create that communication to like clear the slate of the past essentially will be really important in helping you move forward and call in those blessings that are lining up for you. Do we have any oracles? So we have life energy. The happy fairy of sunshine brings lots of life-giving energy. She reminds you to shine your light and to reveal anything in the shadows that needs to be healed. So potentially while you're at the moment like continuing to do that shadow work that has kind of brought you out of this kind of martyr energy into this like really empowered feminine energy, and just like keeping on embracing that life force energy to manifest like the blessings that you're calling in from all of this shadow work that you've been doing already. Embracing that life energy will like bring you really positive changes. But let's see if we can get an affirmation for you. Can we get an affirmation for the Sagittarius, please? So we have, I allow transformation and I flow with each phase. So yeah, this has definitely been a transformative time for you, and it's important that you keep flowing with the transition while it's continuing for you, and trying not to get stuck anywhere with it. Yeah, it's definitely a big transformative time. So yeah, just like trying to go with the flow of that and like surrender and release and just let things play out the way that they're supposed to. But I think I'm going to leave that there, Sagittarius. I hope you got everything out of this reading that you really wanted and needed. It's been a pleasure reading for you. My name's Jade Wilding, and I'll be on this channel doing intuitive tarot card readings for whenever you need it, guys. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to stick around for more readings. But until next time, ciao.